how the Star Wars franchise was bungled, how they could not. I mean, to me, I'm the studio executive in charge of Star Wars, and we're making a new Star Wars movie. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put Han, Luke, and Leia in a scene together. And the fact that that moment, we will never be able to have that moment in cinema when Carrie Fisher was alive, that to me is, I mean, that's malpractice. That's studio malpractice. Your job is to entertain me, not lecture me, not lecture me. Your job is to entertain me. Unfortunately, we live in a time, you know, back in the day when Star Wars was first made, I feel like they were checking one box and it was called fun. And now there's a million boxes that must be checked. There are all sorts of noting and committees and this thing, and this is where you end up with you know, that last Star Wars movie by J.J. Abrams is unwatchable. I mean, it's garbage. It informs exactly everything wrong with the studio system. It's terrible. The Star Wars franchise and how that has been was mishandled. And I look at that and I just think, how could that have been done? They're ever like looking at like the fans and what they think? What do the fans think of this stuff? Are they satisfying the fans? Taking my family, especially how expensive it is to the movie theater experience, which is going away, right? The theatrical experience of seeing a movie is going away. You had better entertain me. And I think that whether Hollywood notices it or not, I think that people don't really like politics woven into fairly mainstream, what should be mainstream entertainment experiences. I think part of the failing of Hollywood is that the marketing is so good sometimes. And here's the problem, the conundrum. The marketing for these movies is so good, the product doesn't live up to the marketing. So, I mean, I got chills watching the trailers for The Rise of Skywalker. I was so excited to see that movie. The ninth, I mean, I was a kid when I saw Star Wars. I'm seeing the 9th movie in this saga. I cannot believe how horrible it turned out. It's really, to me, it's malpractice what happened to that franchise and how it's divided fandom fighting over things that are really, the fact that they're just like, you're seeing people from within that company attack the fans is just like, I hate to see it because I'm like, nerds are my people. To see people fractured over this is really disheartening. But I don't know, like, where are the executives? I mean, other than like maybe coming to mind like a Kevin Feige, which, you know, I can't think of a studio executive that is a visionary these days. You know, I really, and at the end of the day, I miss loving Star Wars. I miss loving it. I used to love it. And now I'm saddened by that franchise. I'm using that as like the best example. There's a lot of other examples. We could talk about the Terminator franchise. We could talk about Star Trek. We can talk about these sort of dead franchises that have sort of lost their way. I just saw a documentary called Laddie, L-A-D-D-I, about Alan Ladd, the visionary studio executive who basically greenlit Star Wars and protected George Lucas. I'm just afraid we're never going to see another George Lucas, right? We're never going to see another real creative visionary that changes the industry because everything is so corporate. You know, it's like, what did Francis Ford Coppola say? Factory filmmaking? That's the age in which we live.